gentlemen, the champ is here, the champ is here, the champ is here.
You were tuned in to G5 Jeff TV. We are in the building. Big shout out to everybody that's listening. If you are new, definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. Big shout out to the team, VP Shane and BoxingFirst Vlog, aka Blunt Bayless. Listen, July 24th, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, the Trilogy is going down. The card is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. There's 2 other fights on this card that could be main events within itself, so it should be no excuse. Save up your change, get this card, pay for this pay-per-view. No doubt about it, it's definitely a must-buy. This is probably one of the most anticipated fights of the past couple of years, because of all of the talk that happened after the second fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, from Glovegate to suit being too heavy, water being spiked, Mark Breland getting fired, JD's being able to stay, Malik Scott is a new head trainer, a lot of dirt being slung between not only both camps but both fan bases for these fighters. So July 24th is going to be the close of this chapter between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. This is going to be the close of the chapter, and that's all we could really ask for in the sport of boxing. Now, of course, there's not people that's in between, really. Like, it's either you're with Fury all the way, or you're with Wilder all the way. But my question is, if Wilder loses this fight, does he have a future? Now, I know that's a general question. I know that's a loaded question. But let's actually attack that question from all angles. Does Deontay Wilder have a future if he loses the Trilogy to Tyson Fury? Me personally, he could have a future, but it would be very gloomy. Very gloomy future. And I'm going to tell you why. And a lot of times I'm honest about Deontay Wilder and what's going on with Deontay Wilder inside the ring, you know, and outside the ring, perception, things like that. And people think I be hating. Deontay Wilder is one of my favorite fighters to watch, because at any time he can turn your electricity off and it's a wrap. Like, it's a wrap. So he's one of my favorite fighters to watch. I think he's top 10 all time in terms of just all time power. You can't deny that, whether you love Wilder or hate him. But if he loses this Trilogy, his future is really, really dark. It's really dark from a boxing standpoint. I'm not talking about from a money standpoint and things like that. Wilder's set for life. Like, he's set for life. But I'm talking about from a boxing standpoint. So this is how I look at it. And it doesn't matter how he loses, whether he loses by knockout, TKO, wide decision, or it's a close fight with Fury in this Trilogy. If Wilder loses this fight, he's not going to get a 4th fight with Fury, because Fury's going to go into a unification with Anthony Joshua if he gets past Usyk. So that takes Fury out of the equation. That takes Anthony Joshua out of the equation. Wilder's not going to fight an Alexander Usyk, especially if he's coming off of a loss to Anthony Joshua. That takes Usyk out of the picture. I think Dillian White doesn't even fight Deontay Wilder at this point. There's no belt on the line. The talking between them two has kind of been going on for a long time, but the fight just never happened. So I don't think that fight happens. You take Dillian White out of it. So then you take guys like F.A. Ajagba. He's not going to fight F.A. Ajagba. You take a Jared Anderson. He's not going to fight a Jared Anderson. Alexander Povetkin, he's retired. Michael Hunter, he's not going to fight a Michael Hunter. Even if you look at it from the PBC side, PBC is in the process of trying to build up heavyweights right now. He could fight Adam Kovnatski, but he has to get past Robert Helenius. So you take those two out of it because they're getting ready to fight. Then you take a Michael Coffey. Michael Coffey just beat Darmani Rock. Michael Coffey is in a main event against Gerald Washington. That's going to be July 31st in Jersey. Michael Coffey could be a potential player in the heavyweight division on the PBC side, but I don't see Deontay Wilder fighting a Michael Coffey. So it's tough. It's tough. I just don't see where Deontay Wilder can actually rebuild after consecutive losses to Tyson Fury from the PBC side and put himself back in the mix within a 2-3 fight range. Wilder is in his mid-30s. He's not a young guy, so he's not in a position of where he can take 3-4 build-up fights to get himself back to a Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua type level. To be honest with you, he would have to hope for a Dillian White to take a fight. Like, he would have to hope for something like that. Possibly a Joe Joyce, possibly a Daniel Dubois, like a name that's going to give him a splash to get him right back in the mix. But I just don't see it happening. Again, because of who Deontay Wilder is and what he brings to the table inside of the ring, being one of the biggest power guys in boxing history. Of course, he has a future in that sense, but in terms of actually being championship level, getting another title shot, just being in the top 3 in terms of the heavyweight division, like, that looks real slim if he loses this trilogy to Tyson Fury. And again, I'm a Deontay Wilder fan. Like, let's not get it twisted. I'm a Deontay Wilder fan. He's one of my favorite guys to watch inside of the ring. But y'all know me. I am very realistic about talking boxing, talking fighters, talking different scenarios and things of that nature. So when you hear this, I don't want you to think like G5 is a hater or G5 is just not a Wilder supporter. That's not the case at all. I'm just looking at it from a realistic perspective where there's just not a lot of heavyweights from the PBC side that's going to get Wilder where he needs to be in terms of rebuilding if he loses his trilogy. Best case scenario would be Adam Kovnatski if he beats Robert Helenius, Michael Coffey if he beats Gerald Washington, and possibly maybe a Charles Martin. Like, maybe those 3 fights would probably be the biggest fights he can get from a PBC side, from a PBC perspective. And that's still not good enough to get Fury back in the ring or get AJ in the ring. Like, that's not good enough. So again, this is a make or break fight for Wilder. If Wilder wins this fight against Fury, he's staring at a unification fight and pretty much $100 million plus. If he loses this fight, he's looking at fighting on PBC cards against guys like Adam Kovnatski and Michael Coffey and guys like that. And that's no disrespect to them. It's just a difference in levels. It's a difference in name recognition. And that's the challenge that Deontay Wilder has in front of him on top of the puzzle that is Tyson Fury. But hey, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video, support your boy, support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.